Okay, part three. Anyway, she asked me if I can go talk to him and, you know, try to like convince him, that he has to leave, but do it in a way such as to not aggravate the situation. So I go in there and I go, hey, I go, dude, Patty's offered to give you a free night at a hotel in town, just like, a graduation gift or something, I guess. So anyway, he doesn't have any money, obviously, and so the night guy drives Wayne to town to one of the few hotels there in this small little town where this place is located, and Patty puts his room on her credit card, and at that point you would think the story's over, but it's not. Because at this point, everybody in the entire facility's up, and unlike me, a lot of these people are not like, they haven't been incarcerated, they're rattled, they haven't been debt collectors, they haven't been bikers, they haven't been anything like me. So like they're rattled by the situation. So like Patty starts making hot chocolate for everybody and fucking telling them, everything's gonna be okay, blah blah blah. Anyway, the phone rings and it's the hotel, and they're like, hey, we're gonna have to put these charges on your card. She's like, what charges? I already paid for the room. And they're like, well, he's fucking, like, this dude is literally running through the fucking, like, I think it's called drywall. He's running through the drywall walls, like literally all the way through, from room to room, like basically knocking this fucking hotel down. Um, and she's like, oh fuck. Anyway, she ends up having to call the sheriff, which she really didn't want to do, but, because she, like me, doesn't want to, like, fucking, incarcerate people, but she ends up having to call the sheriff. Well, turns out that he had this major crush on a female resident that was there at the time, and she didn't tell anyone. So, in the process of this hot chocolate, gathering, it comes out that, he's been, flirting with her and hitting on her, like when she's running on the treadmill in the gym and shit, and, tells Patty and everyone, she's like, yeah, it always made me kind of uncomfortable, but I didn't really want to say anything. At the time, I didn't really think it was a big deal. Anyway, it turns out he had like gone down to the river and like spilled her name out underwater in like white rocks, to where like you had to stand on this huge rock that everyone would jump off of to even see it. He had wrote her name out in white rocks. Um, anyway, sheriff takes him, and he starts sending this female resident letters from jail. And, naturally she's not responding to the letters. Well, anyway, I guess this is pissing Wayne off because in one of the final letters he writes, you're not responding to my letters. I thought we had a fucking, he, like, in his mind thought they had a relationship, I guess. So in the letter he had put a pin as if to say, you know, write me the fuck back, bitch. I mean, I don't know what his motivation was, but like he had put a pen in there. So, and it also states they're going to be releasing me in 3 days, so I'll stop by and see you. Anyway, that like fucking scares the shit out of her. 3 days pass. I'm in continuing care at this point. One of the continuing care residents' duties is answering the phones after 5 o'clock when the staff goes home. So I'm on phones that night, and I see him pull in to the parking lot with like 3 of his buddies, and I'm like, fuck, you know. So he comes to the door, and I like meet him at the door, and he's like, "Where's Sonia?" I'm like, "Bro, dude, she's fucking gone, man. She's checked out. Like, people only stay 28 days. So I mean, like, she's left, you know." And he's like, "No, she was staying 2 months." And I'm like, I don't know. I guess she changed her mind. She left, but like, she's like locked in her fucking bedroom, hiding under the bed. Um. So he's like, "Are you fucking sure?" And I'm like, "Bro, I'm telling you, man, she's gone. She hasn't been here. Somebody knew's in her room. Da 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 da." He doesn't believe me. He's like, "Well, go get fucking whoever's on duty." Well, it turns out the counselor on duty um, has also been incarcerated. You know, he's been in Pelican Bay. He's no pushover. You know, he's kind of a gangster. And when I say gangster, I don't mean like street thug gangbanger. I mean like gangster in the sense of like your attitude, demeanor, the way you carry yourself. Like you're not in a gang, but a gangster. Like a fucking gangster, like a Gotti boy or whatever. So like he comes up and he's like, Wayne, this fucking chick is gone, bro. Like you gotta leave, homie. Like you're fucking, you're gonna fucking get sent to jail again, this and that. And um, anyway, he's really insistent on this and swears that he knows that she's there. Now, mind you, he's got 3 of his fucking homeboys with him, and really the only people there that are capable of a physical altercation is myself and the counselor that was on duty. And like, we don't really want to have a fucking, 4-on-2 fight because, these, all these dudes are pretty good size. I'm pretty good size, he's pretty good size, but there's still only 2 of us and 4 of them, and we don't know what the fuck they have in their car. We don't know if they have guns, we don't know if they have knives, bats, whatever, and we don't have shit because, we're to rehab. Anyway, turns out that like all kind of ends well. He like subsides to the counselors telling him, dude, I really don't want to do this, but like I'm gonna have to call a sheriff if you don't leave. It's private property. Da 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 da. I don't want to see you go back to the joint. You just got out of jail, and Wayne leaves. But that's just one of many really amusing stories from my 6-month stay at the Singing Trees Recovery Center. Now, mind you, none of these things are the fault of Singing Trees Recovery Center. This place is run immaculately. The staff is amazing. And the things in my stories are definitely not their fault. Things that could not be avoided. Another, there's, another thing that happens is like reggae on the river is really close. So when that happens, there's like a lot of fucking, quote unquote hippie activity that kind of comes down the river to where we are. And, they smoke and smoking weed and this and that kind of stuff happens. But one kind of memorable dude is, I guess, I can't remember exactly what he called himself. A freedom walker, maybe? Anyways, apparently he walks, and he walks like like the United States. Like he's gonna, like, he's on a walk, like a walk, a long one. Well, he sees the place and thinks it's like a coffee shop because the main lodge kind of does, resemble maybe a restaurant or something. So, like, he tries to come in. And same counselor actually from the Wayne incident was there, stops him, tells him. Anyway, he tries to start a fist fight with the counselor, and he's got like a walking stick, swings at him a couple of times. Anyway, counselor puts him down. That's just a minor little story. But like, yeah, things like that would happen all the time. I mean, I guess maybe it's just like one of those things, maybe one of those, maybe it's location, maybe it's like what it is, I don't know. But like things like that happened all the time. And I debated between telling you that story and I have another story that I'll share with you guys later that I think you'll find pretty amusing too. It's not about that recovery center or anything like that. It's more about kind of my debt collecting days, but I was also working as the head of security in a pretty fucking violent nightclub in Hollywood at the time, and it's a pretty good fucking story too. So I'll tell you guys that story later. I don't have a lot to do today, like I said, so I might post a few videos today. If I do happen to go get the Breitling, I'll show you guys that. Um, but yeah, I mean, just probably going to be a story time day today. Hopefully, you guys enjoy it and find some amusement in it. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. I don't know. But these things amuse the hell out of me, and hopefully, they amuse you. You know, life. I find reality is always more interesting than fiction. You know what I mean? Like, um, we can go to the movies and fucking watch, fiction, and it's really funny. But like, if you really pay attention to non-fiction reality around you, like such as people watching or whatever, man, truth is always stranger than fucking fiction. And the life that I have led has seen so many fucking things that are so fucking unbelievable. You know, time in an MC and, choices I've made maybe have added to that. But, I think later I will tell you the Milorad Lasrakovic story. Now, this is a Serbian dude. It's a friend of mine from Hollywood, and just it's pretty fucking amusing too. So hopefully you guys will find that amusing too. And we'll have like a story time day today. Of course, we'll do dog walk story. Um, we'll talk a little bit more about my bodybuilding and the progression. I think it's been, 3 weeks now since I started back. I've already put on close to 25 pounds. My six pack is still showing, so most of that, probably half of that is, lean mass. The rest probably being water and food. But anyway, the progression's been pretty good. The only problem I'm having and running into is like the weights feeling heavier than they ever fucking have before. Like I told you guys, the first time I did chest, like I could barely push the 100-pound dumbbells. Second time I did chest, I could barely do like the 110s, 115s. Last night I did chest again for the third time, and I was able to get up to the 125s. But I did add in some Adderall and D-ball, so that probably helped with that. Aside from that, like, maybe we'll just do some random talking, some ranting about the things around me that bother me. I'm sure they bother you too, but I don't have any problem being the voice of the world when it comes to things that are fucking bullshit and annoying. So maybe we'll talk about some of that stuff. I'll tell you guys a little bit about my dog and how I acquired my dog. Kind of a funny story there. And I'm having a couple of my cars and two of my Harleys shipped to where I am. I was going to be going back down to Los Angeles within the next month or two, and I've changed that as per my wanting to continue training in the gym I'm training in right now. So I'm going to be here a few months longer than I thought. So even though I don't have my driver's license, as you guys know, I'll tell you guys that story too, why I don't have it, and my I guess what you would just call just fucking straight up defiance of why I don't have it. But yeah, I'm gonna have my two more of my Harleys shipped here. I think I'm gonna have my bobber and probably another one of my street glides sent, and I'll probably have the Maserati sent. So when they get here, we'll look at my cars and some more of my bikes and stuff, and maybe we'll do another lifestyle video. But obviously that won't happen until they arrive. So anyway, until I feel like telling another story, we'll talk again soon.